Hey YouTube, this is The Art of Prepping. Thanks for joining me. This is your survival quick tips. So you're out in the woods and you're just planning on going for a day hike. All you brought was two granola bars. And so unfortunately you get off the path because you thought you saw an animal and you wanted to check it out a little bit closer, and you get turned around. And because it's later in the day and you didn't bring a compass, you didn't think about it, you're having a hard time getting reoriented. And before you know it, though, it's already getting dark, and you're getting a better sense of direction because of the stars, but because of the overcast, it's really hard to identify really where exactly you are. In this hard to deal with situation, there are solutions. I'm not going to get into the navigation part, but we're going to just touch base on food. Now, you may say, well, why are we even talking about food? You've only been out there for maybe a day or less than a day. That's probably the least of your worries, and it really is. So in this situation, you need to focus on more about trying to get reoriented navigation-wise. Of course, making sure you have enough water. And the most important, though, for the immediate safety and security is going to be shelter, especially if it's cooler out. You don't want to get hypothermia. So possibly building a small lean-to or debris shelter or a fire is going to really go a long way to helping your body cope with this transition and the added stress. But let's just say, though, that you aren't able, though, to reorient for whatever reason. Maybe you got injured trying to get through that first night. Something happened, you tripped and fell in the dark, and you're pretty hurt pretty bad. So now you're going to have to wait for rescue. You have told friends that you're going out, but it may take a day or two because the location, supposedly, let's just say that it's very remote, and it may take a little while before someone comes out there. Or maybe even the laws in your area stipulate that you have to be missing more than a certain amount of time. Sometimes it's 24 hours, 48 hours, even 3 days. Depends on where you are. They have different laws before they actually send people out because they don't want sometimes to be too premature and waste their resources. So in this situation, let's say that you have to survive for at least a few days before they even start searching for you. In this type of situation, it still isn't like the highest priority by any means to even start looking for food. But let's just say this. Let's just say after 3 or 4 days, though, you're going to really start feeling it. You're going to have a major decrease in energy. You're not going to die unless you're just very, very small person to begin with. But even then, you can probably last for a good amount of time, probably at least over a week. The average person can last 3 to 4 weeks. Of course, after about 2 weeks, though, you're starting to have some major shutdown of organs. Your body is definitely starting to break down muscle for calories just on a survival level, trying to just exist. So you don't want to ever get that far. But after a few days without eating, though, it is a pretty good idea to try to get that blood sugar up a little bit and to get a little bit more morale and a boost of energy. So foraging and maybe making some small primitive traps or fishing is going to go a long way. And so in terms of this food procurement, let's just say, though, that there is not a lot of water. Let's put this situation, because this is what the whole situation revolves around, limited water or water rations. And when you're doing, water discipline, you have to be mindful of the types of foods that you eat, because certain foods require more water to process and to digest than others. Of course, you need water for any digestion. That's why you should not eat if you do not have water. That's the first one. Number two, if you have limited water, just enough to actually drink and stay hydrated, but you just have just a spare amount left for actually breaking down some food, so you want to get something in your body. You want to go with carbohydrates and stay away from the proteins. Now, your body's going to be screaming for protein because it needs to rebuild its body, and it needs it to have that for the actual ability to function properly, and the muscle mass and a lot of other things that protein does. But your body requires a lot more water to process and to digest the protein than carbohydrates. So what you want to do is just stick with your carbs. Now, if you have times that you get a little more water, then add the protein. But for the most part, stick with carbs. This is number three, I'm sorry. Number three is going to be, don't forget that you can eat pretty much any furry animal. And pretty much any that I'm aware of, pretty much most and any grass seeds you can consume, just like a lot of nuts too. Now, some nuts like acorns require, a more extensive process to get the tannin out to soak it, and so you probably would avoid those and maybe go with like fresh walnuts. I personally can eat them raw and not have any problems. They're a real pain in the rear to get to them, just because of the shell. But I've never got sick over them. Like I have been sick over acorns trying to eat them raw just to test them. And now, if you come up against like maybe some white acorns, they're the least bitter of all. They have the least amount of tannin, and that's one of the reasons why deer like them the most. Now, in terms of other types of things, we also have to look at just even like vegetation and plants. If you find the plants that are edible and you're aware of what edible plants are in your area, which I can't tell you because I don't know where you live. Remember, just for the most part, remember that the root systems typically have a lot more nutrients than the actual green leafy, foliage on the plant. So just remember, the plants have a lot more energy, in particular the starch, and of course that's going to give you that little boost in carbs for the most part in the root system. Sometimes the stalks as well, depending on the plant. So those are just some ideas there, some tips for survival regarding food and water and how they kind of interact. And I hope everyone's safe in the woods. And hey, you guys take care.